So I quickly want to apologize for the Kingdom review being delayed last week and why I saved it until today to actually upload it. And the reason for that was because last week, normally, as we all know, Kingdom likes to come out on Sunday or Monday. But it didn't come out until like late Wednesday, and at the time I was already busy with the week's chapters because they were coming out at a very awkward time. I just didn't have time to do Kingdom last week. So I just quickly want to apologize for anyone that was waiting last week. And many were worried, saying, Chibi, did you drop the series? Did you drop Kingdom? No. As I've said, no. I love Kingdom. It is one of my favorite manga to read weekly. It's such a glorious manga. Great tactics and combat, art, great characters. It has everything I want from a series. So, no, I'm not gonna drop Kingdom, guys. Just chill. Just, shit happened last week. A lot of personal shit. I just didn't have time to get around to actually, making the video. So, anyways, here I am. I'm gonna be doing a double chapter review this week. Now, I don't know how long this video is gonna be. It could be long. It could be 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, longer than that, I don't know. It really just depends on how the information goes and all of that. But basically, I want to be reviewing last week's chapter and today's chapter that came out. So just giving that out there, that information out there, if you're wondering why I talk about last week's and then this week's. So, oh yeah, one last thing before I actually talk about the two chapters. I also want to let you all know, if you're unaware, next week when it rolls around, there's not going to be any, Kingdom chapter. Apparently, at the end of the latest chapter that came out today, it's revealed that next week Kingdom will be on break. So, around when Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or whatever comes around, there won't be a chapter, because it's going to be on break next week. So I just want to let everybody know, if you're wondering why there won't be a chapter next week, is because at the end of the latest chapter it states it will be on break. Okay, so with that being said, let us begin. So chapter 524, Weight of Resolve. Basically, what I expected, and what I was talking about a lot to all of you, basically saying, because of Ouhon's position, where he was at, on top of the hilltop, viewing the armies of Zhao and then his army of Quinn, and seeing what was going on, he could easily be someone that could be like a weapon to initiate an attack when someone's trying to do a surprise attack against Akko's, army. Either his second wave, his first wave, or tries to come around on the side, whatever. Ouhon was very important, and he was going to play a role to being able to view the battlefield and change the battlefield when the time is needed. And so in this case, what happened in chapter 524, basically it's what I predicted, it's what I expected. And judging by the way the chapter goes, or where the direction it's leading towards, and then the next chapter, I feel like Ouhon, he wanted this to happen. It's clear as day that the way Akko, actually countered and started attacking, Bananji when he was coming into his army, his first wave, the way he initiated like that, and then he changed directions and he started going after the commander that was rushing his army after Ouhon went in as well to cut him off, it felt too perfect. It felt like he expected that. He expected Ouhon to dive in like that and help out. Most likely thanks to Ouhon planning the entirety of this war so far. Because remember, in the grand scheme of things, even though all of them are skilled commanders, they have their own tactics and are able to do their own things, remember, Ouhon, he's already planned all of this out. He's already thought out what could most likely happen. He's looked at everything and he's figured out a big plan. And everybody that's doing these certain moves, he's knowing that they're most likely going to do that, or they might do something that's a little bit different from what he expects from them, which he already has planned for that as well. So Ouhon, he probably expected his son, Ouhon, to probably react like he did and initiate like he did, even without being told to, because of his anger, but also wanting to help someone out because of his viewpoint over the entire battlefield. So, like I said, it was to be expected. I feel like that is why he was treated like that in the first place in the previous chapter, chapter 523. So anyways, though, let's talk about the situation here that Akko's army is in and what he did. So the man, obviously, he's initiating with his first big wave. He's leading the charge. We found out he's that type of general that loves going in there with his army and fighting on the front lines. He's a crazy-ass general, and he's very straightforward, but he also is smart. He has shown that he can be smart. But he's very straightforward, and he goes in. He's like that guy that just has all bronze, just beating the fucking shit out of you. He's just gonna grab you up and start nailing you into the wall. That's basically what type of playstyle he has in this battle. And so when he's charging in and all that, you can see how his men, they charge in with reckless abandon. They don't even care if one of their friends or their family members drop dead beside them. They continue charging forward on their horses to just nail the army that they're facing. And that's kind of what the first half of chapter 524 was about, showcasing the brutality of Ouhon's army and how his men won't stand down if he sees people around him dying. They'll just continue going on, and because of their morale and how they continue to shove forward amongst enemy lines, it scares the enemy lines, because they're like, holy shit, do they not care about their men? They're just charging forward like they don't even give a shit. That's actually kind of scary. I mean, when you see men just charging at you like a fucking train, and they're not stopping, they're not even taking a moment to look at the guy that fell to the ground and died, but they're charging forward, just looking at you with rage in their eyes, cutting your men down like they're nothing, like paper mache, that's gonna scare your ass. That would definitely scare me if I was in that situation. So, Ouhon's army has a lot of weight, a lot of presence, and the title of the chapter, Weight of Resolve, definitely has a lot of meaning here, because the weight of his army just charging in like that would scare anyone, because they have so much resolve to just actually continue charging forward, not even really caring about people that fall beside them. They just continue going like a suicidal maniacs. That is just crazy. But like I said, it's an interesting tactic. Now, however, since this tactic is very straightforward, you have it to where a couple of the other commanders of Zhao's side, they're able to initiate and attack Ouhon's army from the side. Because remember, Ouhon's kind of by himself. He's the one charging in with his army, and he has a second wave in the back. I have the panel pulled up here, and you have a bunch of other commanders in the back holding back. Well, basically, one of the other commanders, Bananji, he comes in and he starts to attack Ouhon's, left side, the left side of his actual army, and he's starting to just drill straight through his army like they're a fucking arrow. They're just going straight through him, splitting them in half and all that, which is causing it to where the army is getting surrounded. Ouhon's army is getting surrounded on both sides, the front lines at the very least, which is not very good at all, because if they can wipe out those front lines real quickly, there'll be less, and then they'll have to, retreat. But also you gotta remember that the army, Ouhon's army, that's a distraction squad going down to the second wave, is already holding off that army, so basically they'll be sandwiched once again. The first wave will be completely sandwiched between Bananji's army, what he initiated with. So, that's not a very good situation to be in at all. That's like falling for a trap. However, with Ouhon coming in like he did, and he was going in between, the first and second wave and all that, and he was able to go and dive straight through Ouhon's army, he was able to cut off Bananji's army from the back part of his army, like his front army from his back part of his army. It's very similar to what, Bananji was doing in this chapter. Okay, let me give an example. For instance, as I said, he was cutting through Ouhon's army from the left side, straight through like a needle and all that. I mean, he was separating the front lines from the back side. Well, that is what Ouhon did. As, he was charging in through and all that from the left and going towards the right, Ouhon comes in, he goes straight through and cuts off the back from the front. And so basically the commander now, he is trapped as well. So all the commanders are basically in one spot having a battle royale, and it's kind of like the entire situation was flipped. Like that. Because of the way Ouhon went in, what could have been very bad for Ouhon's army in the actual commander Ouhon, it could have actually went really bad. It was flipped, and now what was happening to him is now happening to Bananji. He is now surrounded by warriors, and there's just no way he could possibly get out of here without someone else intervening and coming in with their army. So, yeah, it seems like Osen probably planned all of this to happen, because it just seems way too perfect for this to really be happening like it is. Anyways, though, let's talk about the next chapter. So, chapter 525. This one is the very, very interesting chapter because Ouhon shows his skill. He shows what he's been showing us since his introduction. He is not someone you clearly underestimate. He's very powerful. He's someone that will kick your ass if you just don't pay attention. And he also has a knack for strategy and tactics. Just like his, father, Otsun, how he is able to come up with strategy, you can see where Ouhon is also being able to do that as well, especially with how he dived in like he did. Now, like I've already said, even though most likely Otsun expected this to happen in the first place, most likely since Ouhon is like he is and he's his father's son, he might have saw this opportunity to strike, and that is why he went in like he did. So basically, he is following his father's orders, what his father wants him to do, by going in like that to help out Ouhon. Now, another great thing I like about this, though, like I said, even though he probably is aware that that's what his father wanted, he still is the one that figured this out on the clifftop to when to initiate, when to strike. To be able to do that and initiate like he did, it does take tremendous amount of skill. So, you gotta compliment Ouhon where the compliments are due. Anyways, though, basically, we get the initiation of two commanders about to go up against each other. For instance, we have Ouhon going up against Bananji, and then you have Draco, he's coming over towards Zen to be able to fight as well, so it's not looking too good for Bananji right now if he doesn't get the fuck out of there. If he doesn't figure out a way to get out of there, it's not gonna be good for him. He's probably going to die, and if he drops dead, that's gonna be a big power spike for Quinn's favor. They're gonna be able to just steamroll a couple of enemy lines because their morale is gonna drop if a commander drops dead, because what we know of when it comes to Kingdom, when a commander, general, or whoever dies, it basically means that that army is dead, because it's like cutting the head off of a snake. That's exactly what that means. So, Bananji may be strong, he may be crazy powerful, but you can only do so much when you're completely surrounded by enemy lines. We have even seen this from the greatest generals, that when they get surrounded, they can't really do much, and they're fucking dead. That's what we have seen already in this series. So anyways, the battle has started between these two, Ouhon versus this renowned commander that has survived the harsh north, and the harsh north is like, honestly, even worse than apparently the plains. What's going on in the plains and all that, how, you know, the states are fighting each other, apparently whatever happened in North with Zhao, it's much worse. Like, it's way worse than what we have ever seen, because it's like a land of death, because their northern borders of Zhao, what they've been defending against for a very long time, the tribes that have been attacking them, the other countries and stuff, they're just so relentless and powerful that it's just a bloodbath up there, and nobody's really able to survive up there for long. A lot of generals, top-tier commanders, die within like a month because of just how brutal it is. And so for this man to be able to survive so long, it's basically saying that this man, he has survived impossible odds. So even though he is surrounded, and like I said, it's looking bad for him, it doesn't necessarily mean it's GG for him yet, because he has been in some very bad spots, most likely, because of how harsh the North is, that he probably can get his way out of this. And also, if you could execute Ouhon, which I don't think Ouhon would die, but if Ouhon did die, it would, theoretically, it would wipe out Ouhon's army, and also it'd make it to where the morale of the troops around, which is completely fall, and then also any plan that Osen had in the first place with Ouhon, that would fall too. So that entire battlefield would shift, they would lose, and then Zhao would be able to steamroll our right wing, and then go over to attack the center wing. That's what would happen. So, it's not necessarily GG yet, but it really depends on how this fight goes. However Ouhon holds in this fight will determine the outcome of this wing, the right wing of Quinn. That's really what it comes down to right now. So a very, very, very good chapter of Kingdom this week. I'm excited to see what's going to happen next. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.